David Pakman did a really interesting segment highlighting the difference between Bernie Sanders and Rand Paul on the issue of health care. And Paul is pretty far out there. Let's watch.
Bernie Sanders. What does Bernie Sanders think about health care being a right? Quote, I believe that health care is a right regardless of income, that every American has the right to the best quality health care that the system can offer. Lewis, it's clear, it's concise, it's unequivocating, it's a position I agree with completely, that of Bernie Sanders on this issue.
And it's been his position all along. Yeah, we agree with it. It makes sense, and it's succinct. It's to the point. I like it.
Rand Paul on the idea of health care being a right. Quote, with regard to the idea of whether or not you have a right to health care, you have to realize what that implies. I'm a physician. That means you have a right to come to my house and conscript me. It means you believe in slavery. It means you're going to enslave not only me, but the janitor at my hospital, the assistants, the nurses. There's an implied threat of force. Do you have a right to beat down my door with the police, escort me away, and force me to take care of you? That's ultimately what the right to free health care would be. As usual, Rand Paul missing the entire point. People think Rand Paul is a smart Republican. Number one, physicians already practice under certain rules where they must provide health care to patients in a healthcare setting such as a hospital, and it has nothing to do with single-payer health care, since we don't have that, and it has nothing to do with beating down Rand Paul's door and demanding that he look at your eyes or whatever it was that he did when he gave himself an accreditation on a board he created and appointed his wife to be president of. Nurses can't just walk out in the middle of their shifts without transferring care of their patients, or else they risk losing their licenses. This already is part of the law. It has nothing to do with single payer.
Yeah. You know, Rand Paul is a curious character because I'm certainly not saying he's smart. So David there was saying, like, mocking the idea that he's a smart Republican. It's just that, relatively speaking, he's smarter than the other guys in there. But that's like being the tallest kid in kindergarten. That's not saying anything. You know, you don't have to try hard at all to be smarter than Rick Santorum, Mike Huckabee, and Donald Trump. So he's relatively more sane. But this is the thing with libertarians in general. Now, I think I probably have a bigger libertarian streak than most other progressives and most other liberals. But I say that, you know, on 40% of the issues, or maybe even sometimes as much as 50% of the issues, I'm right there with the libertarians, and I think they're even better than the Democrats. The problem is, on the other 50% or 60% of the issues, they're on Neptune. I mean, on economic issues, on domestic issues, they're, he just said universal health care is slavery. Slavery? That you can't, if you gave me a sheet of paper and a pencil and sat me down and said, who uses pencils anymore? But you said to me, write down as crazy a statement as you could come up with. I don't know if I could top the universal healthcare is slavery comment. So let's think about this for a second. So, okay, Rand, what are you saying? Is every other modern nation in the world a slave nation? I didn't know Australia was running slaves. I didn't know that. I didn't know Canada had an issue that they had to deal with. I didn't know Britain and France and Norway and Denmark and Iceland and Sweden, they had something going on. I didn't know they were stuck in the year 1620. No, it's ridiculous. Rand, it's not like, you know, every other modern country has this thing and we're the only people who figured out the right way and those other people are crazy. No, they have it right. They're the ones who figured it out. And when it comes to universal healthcare versus, like, you know, privately funded healthcare, a capitalist system for healthcare, it's a matter of funding. Where do you want the money to come from? Do people take out their wallet and pay you themselves when they have something done? Or does it come out of our tax dollars? Like, instead of our money going towards, I don't know, needless wars and corporate welfare checks, maybe we can reallocate the funds to make sure that if your grandma needs some gallbladder surgery, she can get it and not go fucking bankrupt. Okay, the idea that it's slavery, see, that's the thing. Libertarians, half the issues, the economic stuff, they're so fucking out there, man. They're just so out there. They basically want market anarchy. They want anarcho-capitalism. And here's the way to respond to that. So if I was, telling Bernie Sanders, talking to him about how he can respond and how he can play politics when he hears Rand Paul say something so stupid, here's what you say. Rand, I didn't know you were in favor of death panels. And people will be like, what? No, but see, that's a capitalist healthcare system. It has perverse incentives because it's for profit. And the way it works is, with health insurance companies, they are incentivized to pay out as little as possible for actual health care and push as much money as they can towards their bottom line because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to do so. So they're denying care as much as they can to maximize profits. That would be a death panel. They do this process called rescission where they say, oh, in the past you never mentioned you had acne, so we're not going to fund your cancer treatment. So then they don't get the coverage they need, they don't get the surgery they need. What happens? Sometimes they die. That would be a death panel. You had a private health insurance company sentence you to death. People used to work for these insurance companies and they quit because they were like, I can't take it morally. I know what I'm doing and it's basically a death panel. So I didn't know you were in favor of death panels, Rand. I didn't know that. No, see, the problem with modern libertarian thinking is that on economic issues, they're out to lunch. They've gone insane.